countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire.
Didn't you hear what I said?
Ali, please be quiet. Please, keep it down.
Ollie, you don't know what's going on. Please keep your voice down.
What? What are you two saying? I'm sorry, but I'm not feeling too well right now. I just came from the all-you-can-eat buffet at the Taco Bowl, and my inside day is about to.
Ollie, please, no.
Okay, I's got everything. About time I turns on the gadget and get out of here before I's wears out my welcome. What on earth? Oh no. I repeat the bulletin from a few moments ago. The child involved in the cave-in has been identified. His family and friends have been notified of the incident, and we are now able to bring you his name. The child, one Bunson Bear, was at Waterford's famous and dangerous cave named after Ernest Navigo, the explorer who vanished years ago while exploring its deep caverns. Just as Ernest's fate is unknown to this day, so is that of the young Bunson Bear. It is not known why the child was at the Navigo cave, only that he was there with 3 of his friends. 2 are known. 1 is still missing. The 2 known, Jingles Giraffe and Lazar Lion, are safe and home with their families. The 3rd child, hereby unidentified due to his unknown family ties in the area, is still missing. We do know that the 3rd was not injured in the cave-in, only that he ran off sometime after. A search is still pending. If anyone has seen a young boy, about 10 years old, black hair with a yellow shirt, you are asked to call Waterford Police immediately. The child, we have been informed, has a social development illness known as Asperger's syndrome. The exact nature of the illness is unknown at this time. We can report the child is on medication for the illness, at times rendering him aloof and uncertain in his thinking processes. As for the child involved directly with the Navigo cave-in, a search is still in process. Mining tools have been sent in from surrounding communities. With the help of the local fire and police departments, Oakland County Search and Rescue states they have high hopes the child will be found. The cave consists of many support beams. Even though they are old, it is hoped that some could have created air pockets in which Bunson Bear will be able to survive. Also in the news, the bad news bandit has struck again, this time at a farming community. I just know that they'll find Bunson alive and well. I just know it, Lazar. I don't know how, but I have this strong feeling that Bunson is fine. Maybe a little in distress, but alive. Well and breathing. I just wish I knew how I knew this, but...
I wish I shared your enthusiasm, Jingles, but this doesn't look good. It's been over 5 hours since the cave-in. If Bunson were alive and well, he would have walked out of there, wouldn't he? I mean, if he had the gadget or gizmo turned on, he'd be a hologram, and the cave-in wouldn't have affected him at all. He could have strolled right out of the cave, as if the dirt and rock weren't even there. But he hasn't, Jingles, he hasn't. Over 5 hours now. Over 5 hours.
I know all that, Lazar. Believe me, I know it. Even so, like I have during this entire day, the entire last few weeks actually. I just feel something that I can't explain it at all. But like, I know something. I feel something. But I don't know what it is. All I can say for certain is that Bunson is alive. Maybe the gadget broke. Maybe he's stuck as a hologram somewhere. Maybe the cave-in opened an air pocket like that reporter said. Who knows? But Bunson is alive, Lazar. He is. Nothing anyone can say can make me believe otherwise.
But how can he be alive? If he's a hologram and stuck that way, how will he eat or drink? He didn't take anything into the cave with him.
Bunson may eat a lot, Lazar, but he's not diabetic. He doesn't need to eat that much. Anyway, lately, he hasn't been like he used to be at all, either. He isn't the pig he used to be. That's another thing. It seems like overnight, Bunson went from trying to torture sea turkeys to being one of our community's most upstanding citizens. Look at all the time he spends with Mervyn. Nobody spends time with Mervyn. Yet Bunson is over there every day. Just another unexplained thing to add to so many unexplained things around our town.
I don't really see how Bunson spending time with Mervyn is that much of a change. Mervyn is one of the smartest people in town, even if he is a little weird. I could see how Bunson would have something in common with him.
Maybe, Lazar, maybe. Even so, something, I don't know what, but something has happened to our memories. As soon as we find Bunson, I'll hug him and then lay into him with a torrent of questions. I want answers. I need answers. I hate mysteries, and this is a huge mystery, Lazar. I've got to know what happened over the course of the last year. I just have to.
I don't know what you're harping on, Jingles. So a lot of people don't remember much about last year. So what? Whatever happens in this town worth remembering? Now that I think of it, I don't remember all that much about 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. Why commit something to memory if it isn't important? I think you're barking up a tree that died a long time ago, and all its branches fell off.
Hey, we got something. We got something. A call came in over the speaker, and Hob's sending it along now. No, don't know what it is, but it was found alongside the chest or something. The chest is completely destroyed. Whatever was in it is flatter than a flapjack. No use in bringing it up. Whatever we're being sent probably isn't in any better condition. It's a mess down there, sir, a real mess.
Jingles, I don't say this often, but I have a feeling you are wrong. A strong feeling you're wrong. Dead wrong. Dead. No. I've gotta get out of here. I can't look. Tell me what it is later, Jingles. I've got to get out of here.
Bunson can't be dead. He can't be. I don't know how or why, but I know he's alive. He's alive. Whatever comes out of that tunnel, it won't change my mind one bit. Not one bit.
Here it is now, sir.
Oh my. Oh, Bunson, you idiot. You big idiot. Why did you... Excuse me, sir. I was one of the boys with Bunson when he was down here. Have you found anything at all that would show one way or another Bunson?
Sorry, kid, but it don't look good. Nothing survived the avalanche. We found what your buddy was more than likely after. We found the trunk, or chest, or whatever it was. It's a complete loss. We haven't found any sign of your friend. But it really don't look good.
But if you haven't found any sign of him, any at all, isn't that a good sign?
I don't know, kid. I really don't. I've seen my share of accidents. I've seen miracles, and I've seen the impossible. When it comes to the force of something like this, just about anything can and does happen. Could he still be alive somewhere? Maybe. It's just as possible that we'll never find a trace of him. This cave-in, the amount of raw earth that collapsed. Kid, I don't know what your friend thought was so goddamn important in that cave. But whatever it was, I'm gonna tell you this honestly. It and your friend...
Don't say it! Don't say it! You get back in there and keep looking. You find Bunson, you hear me? You find him right this minute. Don't stop looking for a second. You keep digging until you...
Nurse, get over here quick. Nurse! Nurse! Nurse!
How's it coming?
Oh, be careful, Warren.
What's in it?
I'll get it off for you, Mr. Brand. Say, we came here to learn about emotions, not play children's games. What is this anyway, Mr. Brent?
Well, you had some questions about emotions for your biology classwork. This will help. Sit down. Notice your own emotional reactions to what you've just experienced. What did you feel? What did you do? How about you, Jean?
Oh, I've got to catch my breath, Mr. Brett. That scared me.
Warren, your reaction.
Well, I think I feel kind of angry. You tricked us, you know.
And you, Larry.
Where did you get this thing? This is pretty clever.
Notice that each of you reacted differently. Jean's reaction you might call one of fear.
I'll say.
Jean drew away from the box. That's what you generally do when you're afraid of something. On the other hand, Warren's reaction you might call rage. He was ready for a fight.
What happened to me? What did I do?
You laughed. You were pleased. You drew closer to the box. You liked it. Psychologically, we classify that sort of response with what we call the basic emotion of love. And so we have examples of each of the three basic emotions. Fear, rage, and love.
Why did we act that way? I didn't want to be afraid.
Our emotional reactions are involuntary, pretty much automatic.
Well, if that's the case, then why weren't all our reactions the same?
While we're very young, the actions and attitudes of our parents and brothers and sisters condition us to a great many emotional responses. We all have them. Of course, most of our conditioning is much more complex than the sort we've shown so far. We often become conditioned to react emotionally to words or ideas.
Words? I can't believe that.
You can't? Well, remember, emotional behavior is largely involuntary. Here, come over here and take a look at this model of the brain. This is the front of it. Emotions are centered in the lower part of the brain, the thalamus. The thalamus is not consciously controlled. When your emotions are stimulated, a reaction indirectly affecting the thalamus can produce changes in you and your body. For example, you all three reacted to the jack-in-the-box. Your facial expressions and actions changed. And that was without any conscious effort or control, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Well, in the same way, your reactions can produce involuntary changes within your body. For example, these glands may produce tears. That's common in emotional responses. Other glands, such as the adrenals and the liver, work harder. Sweat glands in your skin produce perspiration. Your stomach slows down its digestive action. Your heartbeat changes, sometimes faster or sometimes slower. And your breathing changes. These and many other changes are part of emotional responses, and we can detect some of these changes to measure emotional responses.
Measure them?
Yes. This device called a polygraph measures variations in breathing and heartbeat, and so indicates emotional responses. Larry, you didn't think you would react emotionally to words. Do you want to try it?
Sure. Isn't this something like a lie detector?
It's been called that, but actually it measures and records all kinds of emotional responses. This part is the pneumograph, or bellows, which measures your respiration or breathing. Now, if you'll roll up your sleeve, Larry, we'll put this armband on your arm, and this will record your pulse, or heartbeat. You've probably seen one of these in a doctor's office, haven't you, Larry?
Yes, sir.
Now, if Larry makes an emotional response to anything I mention, you'll notice a change on this record.
Oh, this won't hurt Larry, will it?
No, indeed. Just relax, Larry. This won't hurt a bit.
Yes, this won't hurt a bit. You sound just like my dentist.
I'll turn it on. Notice how regular Larry's breathing is now, and his pulse as the pens gradually fill in the graph. Larry responds to the word fill. That's interesting. And Larry has a dentist on his mind. This is just a hunch, but perhaps if we probe deeply, there's another word, probe. Well, I think I can guess several words that will arouse an emotional response in Larry. Toothache. Yes, that's another. Drill.
And I'm responding just to words. Why?
Well, perhaps you can give us the answer to that one, Larry.
Oh, I have been seeing the dentist lately. I had a bad tooth.
Aha! You're afraid of something, too. Words, aren't you?
I guess so. How did that happen?
Well, come on over here to the blackboard. Maybe if I draw a diagram of the process of conditioning, it will help you. S1, the first stimulus, stands for the dentist. He's a good fellow. Larry's normal reaction to him, R1, is curiosity and interest. But the dentist had to drill. That's stimulus 2. And in this case, that caused pain. Response number 2. The normal response to pain is a desire to get away, a type of fear response. Each time Larry went to the dentist, it was something like the mouse and the cheese. The dentist stimulus became associated with the response of pain and fear, until Larry is conditioned to react to even words about the dentist with a pain-fear response. This conditioning may wear off after a while, or it may not. Emotional disturbances may ruin your appetite, make you nervous, even upset your stomach.
Why, it's like running away from cheese. I can see where conditioning can be pretty unhealthy.
That's true, Jean, but don't forget that conditioning can also be very useful. It's a good idea to be conditioned to stop whenever you see a red traffic light.
Well, then we want to get rid of unhealthy conditioning?
I don't want to be a scaredy cat all my life.
That's right. You want to grow into a mature, balanced person. That's a matter of conditioning, too. Condition yourselves to make more mature responses. Now, let's review a bit. We have certain basic emotions which are controlled subconsciously. They are modified and changed by a process called conditioning. Now, by understanding conditioning and using it, we can more easily achieve emotional maturity. Let's remember what happened with the Jack-in-the-Box. Each of you made a different response, but all your responses were a little immature. Mature persons respond in a more balanced manner. That is, their responses include a little of each of the basic emotions. Enough fear for protection, a little anger or rage at being made foolish, a spark of the love response. That is, interest, curiosity, pleasure. A balance, you see. And we all want to become more mature emotionally, don't we?
Oh, I sure do. Before we go, Mr. Brent, may I keep this graft?
Yes, of course.
I'm beginning to see now how important it is to understand your emotions. Thank you, Mr. Brent.
That's about all I know, Ginny. After that, I had to get out of there. It was just too much for me to take. Jingles remained behind to see what happened next. As soon as he knows anything, he'll be over. That's what we agreed to when this whole rescue effort went into effect. As soon as any of us knew anything, we'd share it with you.
Thank you, Lazar. You's Jingles. Y'all are the best friends a person could hope for. I just don't know how I'd be able to handle all of this, on my own.
You don't have to, Ginny. You'll never be alone, not so long as you have friends around. Did anyone ever tell you about the time Bunson thought he could fly?
No, I don't believe so. Maybe somebody did, but I can't remember all too well now.
It was a few years ago. We were all in kindergarten at the time. Bunson had been watching cartoons over the weekend, some old Fleischer Superman cartoons that his father was working on restoring. Anyway, Bunson saw Superman flying around with that big red cape of his. So, Bunson being Bunson, he took his mother's best tablecloth, cut it into pieces, and made himself a Superman cape of his own. Turns out he needed it too, because once his mother found out what he'd done, he needed to be quick and on his feet. So his mother chased him all about the house, and as always, he came running over to my house, where Jingles and I were playing video games. He was so proud of that cape of his. Looking back on it, it really was a fine cape at that, especially made at the hands of a 5-year-old. He stood in front of my fan, and I'll say he really did look like Superman, with his cape flapping around in the air like that. If that were where the story ended, that would have been fine. But Bunson being Bunson, the story never ends where it should.
Oh my goodness! Jingles, are you alright?
Jingles, what's going on?
I wanted to get here before you found out some other way.
Oh no!
What happened, Jingles? What happened after I left? Catch your breath and tell us slowly. What did they bring out from the cave? Did they find any sign of Bunson? What, Jingles? What made you run over here in such a hurry?
For clearer skin, use Cam-A.
Cam-A, the soap of beautiful women.
Do shadows cloud your beauty? Cloud your beauty. Do shadows cloud your beauty? Cloud your beauty.
Are you downcast because of a dull skin? Do shadows hide your beauty?
Come out of the shadows into the light. Start with Camay, start tonight. A lovelier skin with Camay.
Camay's lather is rich and mild. Change to regular care. Use Camay, and you'll have a fresher, clearer, lovelier complexion. Camay will take your skin out of the shadows and bring your loveliness to light. This lovely girl became a Camay bride, Mrs. John Michael King.
What an exciting change Camay helped to bring to my complexion. You try Camay and win new beauty.
Ladies, you'll adore to use the soap that's beautiful. Will and choose a lovelier skin with Camay.
The entire cave has been excavated. We repeat, the entire cave has been excavated. Nothing remains of the massive amount of earth which is now believed to have taken the life of Bunson Bear. EMTs and state troopers have verified that no physical remains were found. Repeating, no physical remains have been found. However, Steve Parker of Waterford ICU, as well as an emergency responder to many accidents of all natures, went on to state that in a cave-in this massive, finding no sign of physical remains is not uncommon. The sheer force of the earth moving in some cases negates the possibility of any physical signs the cave was occupied when it collapsed. All that was found among the ruins of Navigo's cave was an electrical gadget of some kind, apparently belonging to Bunson Bear. Also, a damaged chest was recovered. The chest, being completely destroyed, was unable to offer any secrets of what may have been inside of it. The status of Ollie Bright, the fourth child involved in the cave-in, is still unknown. As you may recall from earlier reports, after the cave-in, young Mr. Bright fled the scene. He has not been heard from since. If anyone in our listening audience should come across a 10-year-old Caucasian boy, yellow shirt and black hair, you are advised to call the local sheriff's office immediately. Now that recovery efforts have been completed, the state's attorney's office is launching an investigation into how a cave this dangerous has been left open for so long, how Bunson, his friends, and any others could have possibly gained access to it after all these years is a question that will need to be answered.
Bunson, my dear little bear, I know you are not dead, but simply fulfilling what must be. All is going exactly as it did before. What happens next must happen, just like last time. Just like last time.
Oh. Finally, fall back, men. It's Ariel's chosen. We've been waiting for you for a long time, mister. You better be as good as Ariel says you are.
Bye.